Hi, and welcome to How Do You Like Your Coffee? Right now, we are doing the ninth video of our college series, and today's video is going to be on written assignments. This is probably one of the most important things that you do in your college journey, and probably the most scariest. And it doesn't have to be, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. The first thing I want to talk about is the legalities of your written assignments. The first thing to think about is what they call plagiarism. Plagiarism is sort of like copyright. It's sort of you're being accused of taking work from another author and making it your own. It's sort of like copyright, if not equal to copyright laws. Another legality is uh, using those sites that actually say they're going to write their paper for you. They usually say, well, if you pay us X amount of money, we will write the paper for you. Just tell us what is in the assignment that you need, and we will do it for you. That I would recommend totally against because, yes, they can find you out. There you go. There. Yeah. Yes, they can find you out. They can, because there are also programs out there that allow an instructor to put it through the program and find out that this is not your work, and that's when you get in trouble. And so make sure you do your own work and make sure you do everything you're supposed to do. And most importantly, what's going to make that legal is your sources, which I have a tutorial coming up in just a couple seconds here on how to do this within Microsoft Word program. Now, that's a good program to have. It will cost you. You get what they call Office 365. You get other perks with it. You don't just get the Word program. It's about $80 a year, $8 a month, depending on how you pay for it. And it pretty much maps it all out for you. If you need an APA format, you get a template. If you MLA format, you get a template. Everything's there because here's what the instructors tell you to do when you get an assignment. They tell you, and this is what scares people when they first start out. I know it did me. And when I discovered that Microsoft Word maps it all out for you, I breathed a whole lot easier. All right, let's say they say, well, we want this research done. We want you to answer these questions, and we want it in APA format, double spaced, New Times Roman, size 12. Cite your sources in this format, and they'll say that it had to be name, a date, on and on and on and on. Well, it doesn't have to be scary because, like I said, Microsoft Word has that program for you. And here we go with the tutorial right now. Okay, this is a quick tutorial of citing your sources and making references inside the Microsoft Word program. And then to get started, when you open up your Word program, you have your paper up here. I'm going to use the example of food allergies. As you can see here, you're going to write your title, your name, the course, the instructor, and the school on here. And getting right to the sources, going to get right to it. So you go up here to references, and you're going to click on that and go straight over here to the style that you want. As you can see, you've got many choices of style. If you are doing a research paper, you're most likely going to be asked to do APA format. Then what you're going to do is you're going to click on Manage Sources and then click New. Now you see this little bit of area here. It's not going to be enough information, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to click on Show All Bibliography Fields, and as you can see, you get a nice amount of space here, a nice drop down of more information that you can enter that will be more acceptable in your papers. I did a couple here as an example. This one comes from a website, and let me show you what it looks like after I have done it and filled in everything that's absolutely needed to be put in your information. The first thing you're going to see is the type of source. There's plenty of different selections here, books, journal articles, it goes on. In this case, I used a website. Now, the next thing is your author. Now, you're right here in this, so let me untick this. If this was an individual, that's what you would put in here is an individual's name or more than one name, more than two, and as you can see, uh, this is not an individual's name, so that would actually become the corporate author. When you write down the corporate author and it's a web page, then you're going to put down the actual name of the website that you got the information from. Next is your web page. That's the title of the page you are on. What is it that's at the top of the page? What is the name of the blog post you're using? What is the name of the journal article that might be on there? Things like that. That's what would go here, not the name of your website. Here, same thing that is in the corporate author line is usually what you would put in here. You can put .org, you can put the actual URL there. What I usually do is put the website right there. Okay, and then the date of their, when they put the article on, when they posted, or when, something like that. In this case, it's 2014. Sometimes you find the date at the top of the page under the person's name or under the company's name, however that works. But there are going to be times when you're going to have to scroll all the way to the very bottom of the page. It'll give the name of the website and then the copyright date on it. That's the date I had to use for this. Then there are going to be times when you're not going to be able to find a date at all, and that's when you put the initials N.D.N. That means no date. That means you couldn't find a date, and then it's understandable and it's accepted. Now, the next thing is you want to put when you accessed the information. When did you go on that site and when did you start collecting and reading that information? That's what you put in here, like I put today's date in here. There's something to note is, and it does remind you to do it, does give you examples when you go into each field, things like that. But you do have to write the full word out, the full name of the month out. You can't abbreviate, you can't put the number of the month in. You have to write the full month out like it is. And then the URL, how I got this URL is while it was on the web page, I right clicked on the top of the address bar and pasted it right into the URL here. That way your instructor, when they go back to read it, if they want to check the information, they can just do the same thing. They can copy and paste this right into their URL bar on the browser. Okay, and then when you're done, it should look like this, nice and professional done. It does it all for you. Next one, I did a book one, and as you can see, it's just a little title here, so you're going to need to show again all the bibliography fields. This time there was an individual's name, Frederick Spear. He was the author of the book Food Allergy. From here to here, this is publisher's information. You can find that on like anywhere from the first page to the fifth page, and it usually is uh, where you find copyright, or it's, it pretty much says publishing company. I'm sure you can find it. They want the year, the latest date on there that it was published, which means if you have several editions, like I have a book that's 10 editions, it has 10 different dates, they want the latest date that's possible in that book, because that's when the book was, that particular book that you're using was published, so that's the date you're going to want to use. They want the city, the state, and the country, and the name of the publisher. These are important pieces of information that you do need to put in there. Next thing you're going to want to do is put the name of the edition. All right, in this case, it was the second edition of the book, and it's, if you can see here, they give you the example of how you're going to do that. Next, again, they want the date that you had accessed this material that you had read and things like that. And in my case, most of the time, you're not going to use the URL for a book. But in my case, since I just went and found the book right on the internet that was readable right off the internet, I was able to find a URL. That way your instructor can actually go on there and click on this just like they did for the website. Now, with these here, like I said, it's all nicely polished up and done for you. Now, down here, let me give you an example. Say I get some specific information from one of these two sites, or I want to quote something from it. You definitely want to put your quotations in there, but you don't want to forget to cite your sources. So that's when you come up here to insert citation, click on it. And since I'm going to say that I got this information from the book Food Allergy, so I would click on it. Now, when it comes from a book, your instructor is going to want the page number or numbers that you use to get this information from. That's when you click on it, click on the drop-down menu, click on Edit Citation, and type in the number, the page number, and it will show up in your citation here. If you use several pages, you click on this. Say you use pages 22 through 25, you would then click on it again, and it would show up like this. Or say you use pages 22 and 27, you would write it in 22, comma, 27. Always separate your pages by comma. You don't put and in there or anything. It's separated by a comma, and it will look like this. Then after you are done with your paper, the last page of your paper, separate from the rest of it, you put this on a page of its very own, is the resources. You click on this right here, the bibliography, and you scroll down to references. You click on that, and there you have it, the reference page. Now remember to put your reference page alone and your title page alone. Now when they ask for a certain amount of pages, the title and reference pages usually do not count for the amount of pages that you do. Now at the bottom of your Word, this tells you how many pages you've done, how many words, things like that. So I hope this is a big help to you. Back to you, Chris. Okay, I hope that tutorial was helpful. There are other things that you are going to be assigned to do. There's PowerPoint. PowerPoint, I noticed that scares plenty of people. Pretty much it's putting pictures in and captions and stories along with those. If you want, I can do a tutorial on that because I find I was scared of PowerPoint at first. Later on, right after I did the first, my first PowerPoint, no longer, it was fine. I was fine with it and comfortable with it, so it's easy to learn. I also, if you would like to do more tutorials in Microsoft Word or any other tutorials, maybe you want to know how to get your PDFs, maybe some with Adobe, maybe other tutorials, put that down in the comments below. If you have any questions, any ideas for further series, or maybe you would like to add to this college series, maybe you're saying, well, geez, she didn't talk about this, that, or the other, put that in the comments below. Until next time. Oh, well, wait a minute. Check out my other videos. There's going to be one here. This will probably be the playlist, so you can check out the other videos of the college series. This right here, YouTube is going to choose that for you. I don't know what it is. I never know until after the video uploads. And this here is going to be, no, you know what? this one here and this one here. Just pay attention to those two. I'm not going to put one in the info card this time. If you like my videos, feel free to subscribe, push the bell icon, and until next time, keep that coffee hot and those pinkies up. I'll be seeing you.